There are moments when our minds betray us. Moments when a simple thought, a passing shadow, or a distant sound seems to swell into an all-consuming fear. You may have felt it, the sudden surge of anxiety over a situation that, when you step back and examine it, is entirely imaginary. Yet, in that instant, the fear feels as real as the ground beneath your feet. This is the power of the mind, a remarkable, creative force capable of both wondrous imagination and self-imposed terror. Today, we are going to explore how the mind generates fears that do not exist, why it does so, and how these invisible anxieties shape the contours of our everyday lives. Fear, at its core, is an adaptive response. Evolutionarily, it has kept humans alive, alerting us to threats in the environment, from the predator lurking in the shadows to the unstable cliff's edge. But our modern world is full of dangers that are often abstract, perceived rather than real. And our minds, ever vigilant, sometimes misinterpret signals, creating scenarios that exist only in thought. This is what psychologists call anticipatory anxiety, a state where the brain rehearses potential threats and magnifies them far beyond their actual risk. Imagine waking up one morning with a subtle tension in your chest, a sense that something might go wrong today. Your mind begins to weave stories. What if I fail at work? What if something happens to my loved one? What if I embarrass myself? In these moments, your body reacts as though the danger is real. Heart rate increases, muscles tense, thoughts spiral. Yet, if you were to step outside, check your surroundings, and assess the situation rationally, you would likely find that there is no immediate threat at all. The fear is entirely a product of your imagination. But this does not make it trivial. Imaginary fears are real experiences for the person living them, and their impact is tangible. Psychologists have studied why the brain generates such fears, and much of it comes down to our cognitive wiring. Humans are pattern-seeking creatures, designed to anticipate and prepare for possible outcomes. This predictive ability is invaluable in many areas. It allows us to plan, to innovate, to avoid danger. But it also leaves us vulnerable to creating worst-case scenarios in our minds. Neural networks in the brain, particularly those involving the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, are responsible for detecting threat and evaluating risk. When these systems become overactive or misaligned, even benign situations can be interpreted as dangerous. Your mind, in a way, is trying to protect you, even when protection is unnecessary. The origins of these imagined fears often trace back to childhood experiences. Early exposure to stress, inconsistent caregiving, or witnessing trauma can teach the brain to overestimate threats. A child who grows up in an unpredictable environment may develop a heightened vigilance, a tendency to anticipate danger even in safe contexts. These patterns can persist into adulthood, shaping the way we perceive the world. Even minor uncertainties, a delayed text, a change in routine, a moment of silence in conversation, can trigger disproportionate anxiety, because the brain is conditioned to err on the side of caution. But there is another layer to this phenomenon, the role of internalized narratives. Our minds are storytellers. From a young age, we learn to interpret events, assign meaning, and construct narratives about ourselves and the world. When a person internalizes messages of inadequacy, danger, or instability, these narratives can manifest as imagined fears. Consider someone who repeatedly tells themselves, "I am not good enough." Even in neutral or positive circumstances, their mind may generate scenarios of failure, rejection, or humiliation. These fears are not rooted in objective reality, but they feel immediate and pressing because they are reinforced by deeply ingrained beliefs. Imaginary fears also thrive in the absence of mindfulness. When we live predominantly in our heads, ruminating on the past, predicting the future, analyzing every minor detail, we create a fertile ground for imagined threats. The mind, untethered from the present, spins countless what-ifs. What if I say the wrong thing? What if this opportunity disappears? What if I am judged? Each question becomes a spark, igniting emotional reactions as though each hypothetical scenario has already occurred. The challenge here is not that these thoughts are unusual, they are universal, but that we often mistake them for objective reality. The effects of these imagined fears ripple through everyday life. Social interactions may become fraught with tension, as one anticipates disapproval or embarrassment. Career decisions may be paralyzed by hypothetical failures. Personal relationships can suffer, as mistrust, hypervigilance, or avoidance take hold. Physically, chronic stress and anxiety stemming from imagined fears can lead to headaches, digestive issues, sleep disturbances, and other psychosomatic symptoms. Mentally and emotionally, they chip away at confidence, self-esteem, and a sense of agency. Yet, understanding the mechanics of these fears provides a powerful tool for liberation. The first step is awareness, recognizing that the fear is a creation of the mind, not a reflection of reality. This recognition allows a degree of separation, a moment of clarity in which you can observe the fear rather than be consumed by it. Cognitive behavioral strategies, such as labeling thoughts as just thoughts and challenging catastrophic predictions, can help retrain the brain's response patterns. Mindfulness practices, meditation, and grounding techniques teach the mind to reside more fully in the present, reducing the time spent in imagined scenarios. Equally important is self-compassion. Imagined fears are not a weakness, they are a byproduct of a brain that is attempting to protect, to prepare, to anticipate. Treating yourself with empathy, rather than judgment, transforms the experience. When fear arises, acknowledge it gently. I feel afraid, and that's okay. This thought is not reality, it is a story my mind is telling. Over time, this practice diminishes the intensity of imagined fears and fosters resilience. It is also valuable to explore the personal narratives that fuel these fears. Journaling, therapy, or reflective conversations can reveal the underlying beliefs and experiences that shape one's mental landscape. Understanding the root of a fear, recognizing that it may be tied to a past experience, an internalized message, or a cognitive pattern, reduces its power. The mind's imagination is vast, but it can be guided. By consciously choosing the stories we give weight to, by cultivating positive and realistic interpretations, we reshape the terrain of our thoughts. Ultimately, the presence of imagined fears is not something to eliminate entirely, it is a part of the human condition. Even the most self-assured individuals experience moments of anxiety, moments where the mind projects shadows onto the walls of reality. The goal is not perfection, but mastery, learning to navigate these fears without letting them dictate your life. It is about cultivating an inner environment where curiosity, courage, and self-compassion coexist with vigilance, rather than being overshadowed by it. As you move forward, consider this: each imagined fear is an opportunity for self-discovery. It is a signal from your mind, revealing patterns, beliefs, and vulnerabilities. By observing without judgment, by grounding yourself in the present, and by nurturing compassionate awareness, you reclaim agency over these mental projections. Fear, even when imaginary, need not control you. It can inform, guide, and ultimately teach you how to be more present, more resilient, and more in tune with your inner life. Remember, the mind is a storyteller, but you are the reader, editor, and co-author of your life's narrative. When fear arises, you have the power to pause, to examine, to question, and to respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Each small step, acknowledging the fear, taking a breath, grounding yourself in reality, reinforces a profound truth: that courage is not the absence of fear, but the conscious choice to move forward despite it. In the quiet moments, when the imagined fear lingers like a shadow, remind yourself, this is your mind creating possibilities, not certainties. The fear is not a verdict, it is a suggestion. And with patience, awareness, and self-compassion, you can learn to navigate these suggestions with clarity, grace, and confidence. Your mind may be creative, but so are you. And within that creativity lies the power not only to imagine fears, but also to imagine courage, hope, and the possibility of a life lived fully, even in the presence of uncertainty.